Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our virtual support group today. Thank you all for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. Today, we'll be talking about caring for the caregiver, and we have Jennifer Youse talking to us today. And she is a certified health coach. And I will turn it over to Jennifer here to let her talk a little bit about herself.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see so many of you all. Usually I always feel bad that we're not in person for these things, but I don't know if most of you are in Charlotte or not, but if you are, I'm kind of glad we didn't have to come out today because whew, what a day it's been here. So I'm coming to you from my sunroom, so I apologize because it's not so sunny, so I don't have the greatest lighting in here. And you may hear dog snoring next to me, so I apologize, but that's my sound effects. But great to see so many of you here. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a presentation to bring up for you all. I'm going to keep this informal because I think that's kind of the nature of this presentation. Kiana, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see that? Yay, okay, great. So I'm just going to, now I will warn you all, tech is not my thing. I was definitely not a tech person prior to the pandemic, but it's forced it. So self-care for the caregiver. Um, I'm going to start off with this Rosalind Carter quote. And I think it kind of just brings us into the headspace that we are all in this. There are only four kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need a caregiver. So we are not unique in this role. And in some way, shape, or form, we're all impacted by this role. And when Kiana and I spoke last, she had mentioned something about, oh, January, I wish we had done something on nutrition. And I was almost going to say to her, I could change it and we can do a talk on nutrition. And I'm really glad now that I didn't, because when I work with people with Parkinson's, I kind of have three pillars in the program that I work within, and they are movement, nutrition, and mindset. And this to me falls under the mindset stress management piece. And I always kind of saw movement and nutrition here and the mindset stress management piece as like the third piece that was trailing a little bit behind. But the more I work with people, the more it's kind of moving up here in terms of its importance. And I have this piece that I was going to share this with my Dance for Parkinson's class tomorrow. And with it being January 4th and a new year, I'm going to share it with everybody now. Just a quick little quote. So 2023, a blank canvas. 525,600 minutes ready and waiting to be filled with memories, love, and laughter. 365 days of opportunity, sunrises and sunsets, new chances and adventure. 52 weeks of Sundays curled up on your couch with a coffee, shoreline walks with the sand beneath your feet, good food and good friends. 12 months that don't yet have a title, that will hold both the expected and the unexpected, both old characters and new. 2023, a year that can be whatever you want it to be, maybe even your best one yet. So maybe some of that is not specific to you. Maybe a walk on the shoreline is not your cup of tea. But I think just in terms of a new beginning, that we can just keep that in mind for a new year. So a quick why I get to do this today. My background, I kind of have this slide as my professional on one side, personal on the other. So my background is as a exercise physiologist. I got my master's in exercise physiology and then another in holistic nutrition, and have done functional health coaching. So how do we take lifestyle practices and help our health that way. But then as we move over to the other side of this, I lost my dad in 2016. He had Parkinson's. And over the course of COVID, my stepmom was diagnosed with Parkinson's. So I live this. So I get to say, hey, I'm in there with you, care partner to Parkinson's. So I kind of get this professionally and personally. So I have the privilege of teaching the local Dance for Parkinson's class here in Charlotte, which is the sunshine in my week. And I'm a yoga instructor. I am certified to teach Parkinson's wellness recovery, which is kind of a functional movement program for people with Parkinson's. So I like to think I kind of get this world on that side of things as far as the disease itself goes and the science of it, but I also get it as a caregiver side because I'm two parents. So that's kind of me and why I am always excited to do any of these opportunities with Parkinson's Association. So we come here as, and I realized today that I am missing something in this. We may be the spouse of somebody with Parkinson's, we may be the child, we may be the friend, we may be a caregiver, a paid caregiver. I've had those at my talks before, a relative, but we may also even be the parent of someone with Parkinson's. And I apologize that I left that out. And I'm starting to see that more in some of the groups that I am a part of. Parkinson's disease, the rate of diagnosis is climbing, but particularly young onset. So I apologize if anybody here is parent to someone with Parkinson's. So, and I think these different roles, we approach it differently. I may approach how I caregive for a spouse differently than I caregive for a parent. I have a feeling I'm a better caregiver to my parent than I am to my spouse. My spouse is my peer, but my parent, I think I look at a little bit differently. So just little things to keep in mind. So I'm going to just take a few moments and ask you all to do a breathing exercise with me. I'm just going to bring up some music to put on in the background, just to kind of center us right now and leave the noise of the outside world behind so you can truly focus on yourself right now. So if you can sit, I can't see everybody right now, but if you can sit up nice and tall, let's open up our chests. Hunched back, hunched over posture. Let's just be mindful of putting our shoulders back down and in our pockets. And we're just going to do a little bit of breathing. I'm going to try to get some music going so you can hear that in the background. Kiana, can you hear my music playing in the background? Okay. So if everybody can place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. And if you feel so inclined, you can close your eyes as long as it doesn't bother you vestibular-wise, balance-wise. You can close your eyes and just take a few moments to focus on your breathing. Don't try to change it, just be mindful of keeping your inhales and your exhales nice and even. A lot of the times what we do is we do kind of a big deep breath in and then we do a shallow little exhale. So try to keep the nice steady rhythm with your inhales and exhales. So you'll feel your chest rise and fall, and you should feel your belly expanding. So just take a few moments and just bring in some good air, bring in positivity, and exhale negativity. And just those few quiet moments, if you find during the day a little bit of scattered, I kept it very short right there, just I'm always being mindful of time. But little moments during the day, if you feel yourself getting flustered, take a few moments and just some deep breathing. I don't know if anybody has an Apple Watch, but Apple Watches prompt you during the day to breathe, and there's a reason for that. And I will say I am not good about doing it consistently, and I really need to be more intentional about using it's a little trick right on my wrist. And if you happen to have that, great. Or if not, if you're having a moment, take advantage of that exercise because it does help center you. So when we talk about self-care for caregivers, self-care refers to activities and practices that we deliberately choose to engage in on a regular basis to maintain and enhance our health and well-being. And to me, this picture here is a perfect representation of a moment of self-care. I think sometimes a lot of us think, oh, self-care, it's taking a day and going to the spa, or we think of this elaborate practice, and it does not need to be anything that is elaborate or costs a lot of money. It can be in simple activities of day-to-day life. So here you have a couple going for a walk with their dog. For me, if you told me to go to a spa for the day, that would induce so much anxiety in me. We are all different in the activities that we find relaxing and soothing and will give us that self-care we need. So I'm going to make suggestions over the course of our time together, but some may work for you and others may not. So just keep that in mind as I make suggestions and pull from it what works for you. So a moment of validation here, caregiving can be all encompassing. So it becomes very important for us to care for ourselves. Although this sounds simple, taking care of a loved one can take over your day-to-day life. And that's the reality, particularly if you're living with someone with a disease, with an illness, with a disability, that we focus on the health and safety of our loved one and we put off our own mental health and our own self-care. So looking after yourself is an important part of living a happy and healthy life and being a good caregiver. And I'm a part of several different Parkinson's forums, group pages, and I thought I would share this as we talk about this. Somebody shared this on one of my pages, and I'm not revealing who it was or anything. It's nobody local, but I think what she shares is something probably we can relate to. So this was on one of my Parkinson's forums that I'm a part of. This is for the caretakers. Please take care of yourself. I am in the emergency room right now on Christmas Day because I had a stress anxiety attack. Scared me so bad. I have been so stupid thinking that I was Superwoman, never asking for help. Look where it got me. Been trying to manage on 3 to 4 hours of sleep for way too long. It took its toll. We are the ones on the front lines doing our very best for our loved ones with this disease, but we are also suffering in ways that we try to hide from others. Please make sure you take care of yourself. If you need help, ask someone or get some professional help. So I just thought when I saw that a few days ago, I was like, it's worthy of sharing. Before you go too far down the road of not taking care of yourself, take those moments, and they don't have to be long, big, full days, full weekends, short moments to recharge your own battery. So take care of yourself first, or you have nothing left to give to others. So that's the pouring from a full cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. So here you have somebody just taking a few moments for stretching. And we go back to those of you who can remember when you flew with your children, your grandchildren, the first rule when you get on an airplane is you put on your own oxygen mask before you can assist anyone else. So a good simple visual for you to keep in mind as you go through day-to-day life, taking care of someone with Parkinson's. So these are some caregiving statistics. These are About a year old. So my guess is they are probably a bit higher even now. So I just want to see if I can get this in the full frame for you all. Okay, so nearly 1 in 5 people are providing care to someone. So 20%, that's a very large portion of the population. And more than 24%, so almost a quarter of a population, are caring for more than one person, which is up from 18% maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. So sandwich generation. I'm taking care of my kids, I'm taking care of my parents. So I would assume perhaps this is impacting someone on this call. And a lot of family members have difficulty coordinating the care. So you had 19% reported that they were having difficulty coordinating all of the care. From 15 to 21, it was up to 26%. So a pretty big rise. A quarter of people caring for someone with Alzheimer's or dementia. And almost a quarter, 25%, say caregiving has made their own health worse. And this impacts all generations. So just keep that in mind. Again, as I say, I think we tend to say spouses or children, but we even have parents caring for people with Parkinson's. And 61% of family caregivers are also working. So now let's add in that variable. You're a sandwich generation and you're still working. So you're trying to hold down a job, you're caring for your teenage kids, and you're caring for your parents. So I think it's easy to see how we can get overwhelmed. So effects of caregiving on your own health. Sleep deprivation. Parkinson's tends to have some more difficulty in the evening, a lot of restless overnights, and that means your own sleep is suffering. Poor eating habits, you're on the go, you don't have time to stop and prepare meals. Failure to exercise, movement. I preach it to my Parkinson's clients, but I will preach it to you as well. These are all lifestyle habits. So how can we incorporate lifestyle habits to ameliorate these changes on health? So failure to tend to your own medical needs. How many times do we hear the story of somebody who has been taking care of somebody, a health issue, taking care of them, and all of a sudden they have a major health issue of their own? You hear it time and time again. So not going for your own checkups, not going for your own medical testing that you need. And increased depression. And a lot of that comes out of this overwhelm that you're dealing with. So caregiving can be an emotional roller coaster. So I'm sure that many of us can relate to this roller coaster that you have a good day, you think you're getting up there, and then there's a lot of emotions involved in this as well. This is your loved one. So there are a lot of emotions that come into play with this. So how often do we feel overwhelmed? I'm trying to do all of the things. I'm trying to be all of the things. I'm trying to keep my house running. I'm trying to keep up with medical appointments. And I have somebody who's having a rough day. So I am overwhelmed. By show of hands, I'm sure we all have those days. So with this stress, we have a stress hormone called cortisol. And cortisol is then released, and its negative effects are often blood sugar, rises in blood sugar, increased incidence or proclivity to heart disease, higher cholesterol. There's all these other pieces that stress can lead into. So something totally separate from Parkinson's. So this is for our people with Parkinson's, our caregivers, but our increased stress adds in these other more, I call them lifestyle conditions. So recognize your warning signs early on. So sleep problems, forgetfulness. And I'll have family members say this to me, like, oh my goodness, I I can't even remember things right now because I'm trying to keep up with all of their things. So know your warning signs so you can act on them and don't wait till you're overwhelmed. And identify your sources of stress. So what causes you stress? So is it too much to do? We have arguments with our person with Parkinson's, our spouse, our parent. Is it the inability of you to say no? Can you not say no to anything? And add that word to your list this year, because it's okay to say no. And identify what you can versus cannot change. You can't change things that you have no control over. You can't change Parkinson's. It is a progressive disease. You can't change it. But how can you respond to it? How can you respond to what your person with Parkinson's needs are and how you manage those? Even a small change can make a difference. So take action. Stress relievers like, excuse me while I try to get this centered, gardening, going for a walk, meditation. I will give you some meditation apps that are free that you can download and be able to use when you need those quiet moments. Take a moment for coffee or wine with a friend. So identify those stressors for you and how you can add some stress reducing activities to your days. And try to find the positive in each day. This kind of is in that mindset piece of things that I was talking about. There's motivational quotes that I'm going to give at the end, that if you're having a moment, take a moment for that breathing and recite those quotes. Kiana, we can share this with participants afterwards, maybe, so they have those, if they can have access to those.
Yes.
So we'll go to, great. Mm-hmm. We'll go to those affirmations in just a little bit. So being informed, I think this is a big piece of trying to control some of that stress and roller coaster, because Parkinson's is definitely a disease that pivots and changes, and there's a lot going on. So be active in your loved ones' appointments. Find out what's happening now, what is on the horizon, what could happen near future, farther off future, what to expect, and making sure you're communicating with your loved one's care team. So the knowledge is empowering and it helps you plan accordingly. So sometimes I think with newly diagnosed families, there's that overwhelm for, I don't know what's coming down the pipeline. I don't know, I'm overwhelmed by all of these pieces. So trying to keep yourself informed with where your loved one is now and what kinds of things they may need. So now focusing on you, tips for caregiver self-care. So staying healthy by participating in regular safe movement. Now, a lot of these things, like I said, I operate with my clients within 3 pillars: exercise, nutrition, and mindset. So safe movement. A lot of caregivers, I don't have the time to exercise. I just don't have the time. And your immune system suffers from that. And the stress increases as a result of not moving your body. So moving your body creates positive energy, positive changes in your brain in terms of your mindset and your positivity. Build yourself up to maybe 20 minutes a day. I think a lot of the times people are like, I don't have an hour to do this. 20-minute chunks, 10-minute chunks. There are a lot of free options in the community. I think, and particularly after COVID now, a lot of them are virtual options as well. So if there's one positive we take out of COVID is some of these virtual opportunities we have now. So an exercise video, a yoga stretching video. A lot of the times, if you have a smart TV, you can search on YouTube videos and find exercise, little pieces of exercise clips that you can follow along with. Just getting out with your spouse, with your dog. Movement, it's activities of daily living is, when people think exercise, I think they think of this like a marathon or a weight trainer. These are our image of what we had in the past of movement. But I'm a big I preach about activities of daily living. How do you add it into your daily life? Go out and garden, go for a walk, things like that. Ask for help. You are a superhero, but you don't have to be in the way that you probably think you need to be. Everybody needs a helping hand sometimes. And even if it's for small tasks. And how many times do you hear people that have something going on and you will say to them, well, let me know if you need anything. And it's what we always say to people. Let me know if you need anything. I do it. Let me know if you need anything. And come up with a list of things that would be helpful to you. For somebody to run an errand for you, for somebody to do some rake some leaves for you, or do some gardening for you. Visit with your loved ones so you can go run an errand. So if somebody says to you, is there anything I can do for you? I really need to go to a doctor's appointment next Tuesday. Do you think you can sit with my loved one for maybe an hour or 90 minutes? I'm happy to give you all lunch while you sit and spend some time with them. So speak to that person's strengths. You don't want me to come over and garden for you, but I can come sit with your loved one and bring them lunch and have a great afternoon. So think about the people that are offering you assistance and what you think they could be helpful with. Again, keep that list of tasks on hand. Stay connected with friends and loved ones. You spend a lot of time with your loved one with Parkinson's, but you need to have those connections with your outside friends and family as well. And focus on you when you do these things. Of course, your loved one will come up and your day-to-day life and how you manage it, that will all come up. But take some time to focus on yourself and take a mental break from that piece. Accept your feelings. So I'm in several forums, as I said, and I see spouses a lot of the times talking about exploding and feeling resentful and getting angry. And it's natural to have negative feelings about being a caregiver. And don't feel guilty about those. Our reality is that we get overwhelmed, and this doesn't make you a bad person. But acknowledge that you're having increased stress in that moment. And in some ways, you're grieving a loss. And I liked this slide a lot. So here's all these different pieces of grief that are not wrapped up in death. And I've shared this one before with some of my clients, caregivers, that we've over the years taken our kids to Disney World many, many times. And I would always look around and see multi-generational families. So the kids, the parents my age, and the grandparents. And I couldn't do that with my dad. And I would have moments of, woe is me. Why can't I do that? And that's exactly what it was. And when I saw this, I'm like, that's what I was going through at that moment. It was grief. I couldn't take my dad to do those things because he just wasn't able to. So I think just acknowledging that maybe you can't spend as much time with your friends. Maybe you're not doing as much community involvement as you used to, and having those moments where you are overwhelmed. But I just think this grief isn't just for death. It is a helpful mindset to keep sometimes. Speak with a professional. I have so many caregivers ask me for family counselors, and I almost feel like there aren't enough to even serve everybody. And this is not a sign of weakness. We all need to raise the flag and say, hey, I need help. And maybe you do need the help of a professional. And particularly newly diagnosed families will ask me for a couples counselor, because how do I navigate this? This is a new relationship now as a caregiver, and with this process, how do we navigate this together? So a lot of the times your churches may have people who are skilled in helping you with this, but check with your insurance in terms of mental health professionals. We don't reach out enough. We do not reach out for help as often as we should, as often as we need to. There is no there's no shame in asking for help. Do not neglect your need for quiet time. Set aside time for yourself to meditate, read, or do an activity that you enjoy. And remember, this isn't a luxury. I found out something about myself during COVID. I am extremely noise sensitive. Everybody being home in my house all the time during COVID made me realize I am very noise sensitive. I need quiet time. And we probably all do more than we realize. So again, back to that, okay, you can do two things at once now. Go for a walk. You get to get some of that safe movement in. You get to catch some vitamin D to help your immunity, and you get that quiet time to yourself. So just acknowledge that sometimes you simply need quiet time. Set realistic goals. Now, I think this kind of gets into as well, like those, what tasks can people help me with? And anybody who knows me knows I operate out of this. This is my, I won't get up in the morning and know where to go without this. Break down things for yourself in a visual way. My spouse is going through medication changes right now, going through a bad spell. Maybe this isn't the time to paint the kitchen. So realistic goals, take the whole picture into account and map out a game plan for yourself in terms of projects you want to do, activities you'd like to do, and set realistic goals. And I am a write it down person. Some people can keep track on an app, and I can't do that. I need to see my visual representation of it. So we're all different. Pause. So that breathing break that we did at the start, taking a few breaks during the day, just a few seconds at a time, can help refocus your energy. Just pause, be aware of that present moment, and maybe you're having a frustrating day with your parent, with the person you caregive for, your client. Take a moment and be present just with yourself. Don't judge what's happening. Be aware of the situation and your response to it. It can help break that moment of frustration. So if you need to take those pause and breathe moments, check in with your breath. You know what? I'm just going to step outside for a moment, go into another room, go out on your porch, your patio, take a few moments for a breathing exercise. I'll give you some meditation apps. You can Google 2-minute meditation app, 2-minute calming meditation. And it doesn't have to be this 30-minute, big, long, om moment. Short little bursts to refocus you. And the calmer you get, the calmer your person you're caring for will get. So if you're in one of those moments, and we all know we have them, where it's kind of frenetic, energy and you get calmer, they get calmer. So here are a few of those meditation apps. The last check, I did not check it today, but the last time I checked, these are free. They may have paid versions as well to escape ads, but like Kiana said, we can share this with you all, so you can look into but if you don't want to go through getting an app, you can literally just go and Google short meditation, and you can find some that way. Sleep. My family knows I am a bear if I do not get my sleep. Essential to your day-to-day functioning, and allows your body and mind to recharge. You've got a lot on your plate. You need to get a good night's sleep. You don't feel refreshed and alert if you did not get a good night's sleep. Healthy sleep helps your body remain healthy and stave off diseases. Without enough sleep, your brain just cannot function properly. You cannot remember things. You can't think clearly. You just need that time to repair and recharge itself. When I would talk to my dad daily, and when I would talk to him, I would know within about 20 seconds what kind of night's sleep he got the night before. And I'd be talking to him and I'd say, "You didn't get a good night's sleep last night, did you?" I could always tell just in his speech patterns when he got a good night's sleep. Your brain, your body needs that recharge. So, turning off your electronics before you go to bed. I am a big violator of the going to sleep with the TV on practice. It's bad. Try not to do it. A meditation app before you go to bed. I'm a big preacher of drinking a lot of water. Drink it earlier in the day so you're not having to get up a lot at night to use the restroom. A dark, cool room. So little things like that lead to a better sleep environment for you. Try to establish consistent sleep habits as well. Nourish your body. Nourishing your mind and your body. Take the time to plan healthy meals for you and your loved one. I think this one is a practical challenge a lot of the times because those with Parkinson's, there may be some of those fine motor skills that are difficult in terms of cooking and being on your feet for a long period of time to try to do food preparation. There are challenges here with this, and also a timing issue. I just don't have the time, so it's quicker to get takeout. Make food your pharmacy. This is this cartoon is one of my favorite little memes. Take one a day with tomato and cucumber, a pharmacy as opposed to a pharmacy. So whole grains, fruits and vegetables, lean protein, things with short ingredient lists. So if you pick up something from the supermarket and there's like a list of ingredients this long, that's processed food. So as close to whole food as you can get, anti-inflammatory. And take the time. A lot of the times I will tell people on Sundays, map out your menu for the week. This is what we're going to eat this week. So instead of getting Jimmy John's takeout sandwiches 4 times this week, I'm going to meet you where you are. Maybe you get takeout twice. And then how can you prepare 2 or 3 whole food based meals? And then you have leftovers for the other nights. Simple self-care activities. So join a support group. We are fortunate enough here in Charlotte that Parkinson's Association of the Carolinas has lots of options for us. Go for a walk. Write in a journal. If your self-care indulgence is you're going to buy a nice, pretty journal, I am a notebook, paper, stationery hoarder. I love a pretty journal. If that's something that gives you peace, you may not want to do that. All of these things are very individual, but I love a nice, pretty journal to write in. Read a good book. Sit in the sun on a nice day. It gives you your vitamin D, gives you your quiet, gives you your peace of mind. A simple fresh air break for a moment of breathing. Meditate. You can try one of those apps. You can try a YouTube meditation video. Take a nap. To me, naps used to be something that weak people did. I'm 100% being very candid here. Who takes naps? You don't need naps. In the past year or so, I've discovered the beauty of a nap, and they can be very recharging and helpful. Listen to music. Try a new hobby. Drawing, painting, anything that you can go out and take a class somewhere, a pottery class. I have one of my dance participants who does the most beautiful, beautiful pottery. And I got to they did a sale back in December, and I got to buy pottery pieces for my family members. They were just gorgeous. Yoga, dance. If you are here in Charlotte, come to my dance class Thursdays at 11 o'clock. We have care partners that come as well. It's not just for your loved one with Parkinson's. We have caregivers that come as well. You can feel free. I'll put my email at the end of this. Reach out to me if you would like to come to our dance class. It is free. We have fun. Work in the garden. Buy yourself flowers. Go get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and browse your local bookstore. A game, a puzzle. A puzzle I like to allows you some of that if you want to do it with your loved one, allows some manual practice and some cognitive action there as well. Sit down and binge Netflix. There's no crime in doing that. If you need that kind of a day, you can have that kind of day. And cuddle with your pets. If you hear my dog snoring, you can see him. And here's my other self-care practice. I love fuzzy pajama pants, fuzzy flannel pants. If I'm in my house and I'm trying to be comfortable, I'm in an 80-degree August day, 90-degree August day, I will be in my flannel pants. So planning. How can you be intentional and make sure these happen during the week? Some of these require some planning. So remember, we made that list of the activities that I can use some help with. So my neighbor offered me some help. Next Tuesday, I would like to go to a yoga class. So I have to be intentional about this. What do I want to do? How can I keep doing this? Who can help me make it happen? And being flexible. Think of a rubber band. So you have a nice new rubber band, healthy, it springs back. Overused elastic bands, rubber bands, they're unhealthy. They break when they're stretched too much. So think about you being flexible in terms of activities you can fit into your daily life and by pushing yourself too much. This self-care is going to give you the ability to deal with these stressful situations and bounce back. So focus on what is going well. I think a lot of the times we tend to focus on what isn't going well. Let's focus on positive, and what we focus on tends to expand. So that expansive thinking. Stay connected with those people that provide support and reassurance. You really do need that backup, that reassurance from others. Make every day meaningful by doing things that give you a sense of accomplishment, and remain hopeful. So if you need to put this on a Post-it, when things feel overwhelming, remember, one thought at a time, one task at a time, one day at a time. I'm going to give you some affirmations now that I would like you, if you feel comfortable, get back into that nice upright posture. Focus on your breathing. If you would like to close your eyes, you can. But I'm going to just read these to you. And these are those things I was talking about when you need that moment, like, oh my goodness, I've got so much going on today. How am I going to get this all done? I'm not doing a good enough job. Here are some affirmations for you. And I just want you to sit quietly and listen to them. I am finding strength, energy, and peace. I support my health. I forgive myself when I make a mistake. I accept that I will have difficult days from time to time. I am finding ways to improve my situation. Even when there is chaos around me, I reach for calmness. I reach out to others to help me carry the load. I pay attention and listen to what my body needs. I am doing the best I can. When I care for myself, I can help others. So if you pulled out one or two of these to keep as your positive affirmation this year, oh, I'm having a moment. Wait a second. I forgive myself when I make a mistake. And these are some caregiving quotes that I felt worthy of sharing. No matter what you've done for yourself or for humanity, if you can't look back on having given love and attention to your own family, what have you really accomplished? This simple act of caring is heroic, so you are all heroes. And from our Parkinson's warrior, Michael J. Fox, family is not an important thing, it is everything. Self-care tips from Pixar characters. Those of you with grandchildren will probably, or even my kids are teenagers. This is like this. I always joke, everything can be summed up by a Pixar character. Live every moment, cook something yummy, sing a song, find joy in the small things, talk to a friend, dance, take a drive, go for a run or a walk, write in your dream journal, read a book, meditate. Taking it back to just simple things, cooking something yummy, having a nice meal, go for a drive, out in the country if you live in the city. Dance, put on music in your living room and dance. So your first step towards self-care is you took the time to do this today. So pat yourselves on the back, round of applause. I always welcome people reaching out to me. I've put my email here. You can feel free to reach out to me, or you can reach out to me through, I put my website there as well if you wanted to reach out to me through there. I am going to stop sharing. And like I said, Kiana, you have my permission to share this if you would like to share it, or if anybody, like I said, you can email me and I am happy to share this with any of you. Yay, now I get to see faces. Back to faces.
I'll go ahead and stop recording.